Stepping from our ordinary world into the fantastical, Immersive XP explores the weird and wonderful imaginations behind a diverse range of themed experiences. From virtual reality to escape rooms to live-action roleplay, nothing is off the table. We'll take a deep dive into what makes these adventures worth attending and which ones to avoid. Join me on a journey to explore the extraordinary and meet the people who make dreams a reality. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Immersive XP. I'm Taylor Forge, your non-binary host based in Southern California, seamstress by trade, silly little guy by trauma. Favorite childhood toy? Silly putty.
Always put your silly putty back in its egg, or it will run slowly away. You can buy silly putty for $1 wherever toys are sold. And remember, nothing else is silly putty.
Fun fact of the week. In the 1930s, Kodo Products produced a putty-like substance with cleaning products in order to clean soot off of wallpaper without wetting it. As homes transitioned to gas heating rather than coal, along with better wallpaper materials in the 1950s, the product's value decreased rapidly. When the company was nearing bankruptcy, a relative of the owner's family suggested rebranding the product. She was a nursery school teacher, and her students loved to use the putty for art projects. With removing the cleaning substances and adding multiple colors, the once wallpaper cleaner became Play-Doh in 1956. While the recipe has gone through multiple changes over the years, over 2 billion cans of Play-Doh have been sold around the world since its introduction. May imagination and creativity never end. This week's episode is a passive XP, which is any experience with a low barrier to entry and little to no interaction required. This week, I had the pleasure of going to Las Vegas. For a quick trip to cram as many immersive experiences as I could into my 2 days there. One of the stops, the Illuminarium, located in District 1 of Area 15. In addition to Las Vegas, locations are also in Atlanta and Toronto, with rotating immersive experiences. What is the Illuminarium exactly? Without lights, it doesn't look like much. A 10,000 square foot space with high ceilings and circle benches, but completely solid white. When the show starts, 4K laser projections and projection mapping brings the space to life. With the surround sound and floor vibration capabilities, visuals come to life in 360 degrees. The two shows I saw back to back were Space, an experience beyond Earth, and Lightbright, Worlds of Wonder. I'm going to be perfectly honest and upfront. I got so bored with Space, I ended up leaving halfway through. For a 45-minute experience, I honestly questioned what the purpose was for creating it in general. The show starts with visuals, both real videos from the first space launch and CGI visuals to fill in the blanks.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
The audience is visually launched into the sky in a blast of rocket flames, soaring past the atmosphere and reaching the moon. Sequences of film from the moon landing, intertwined with an immersive CGI surface of the moon, allows you to explore within the confines of the space. Moving around leaves footsteps on the floor behind you, as if you're an astronaut discovering this new location. From there, the show seems to bounce around with any story or cohesion. Awkward artist depictions of what could happen in the year 2300, to astrology, to outside the Milky Way, and so on, linger for far too long on each piece of scenery. Some technical issues with defocused projectors, along with less than ideal CGI for something so close and personal, repeatedly broke the immersion for me. Nothing quite captivated me enough to feel like this was worth it, my time, and I decided to go look in the gift shop instead. Next was the Lightbright show, which compared to Space was far more fun and felt like it had more intentional craft put into it. The show starts with a cute animated sequence explaining that our life can feel dull sometimes, and we forget the imagination we used to have as a kid. Looking at things through the lens of a child can bring so much color and vibrancy, which is exactly what the following 50-minute show does. The experience is like exploring a rainbow world beautifully rendered in dots. A full 360 show of short vignettes beyond reality. First going through the depths of the sea and traveling back to the ages of the dinosaurs, to the future where we see aliens in space. Walking around left a trail behind you that was in theme with the current location. What I thought was clever was in between each scenery change, mini games appeared on the walls. One was a QR code that you could scan and create a creature on your phone. It appeared for everyone to see as you colored it in, then it would float around the space when you completed it. Another was a capturing game where you stomp on the ground to collect treasure chests before enemies on the screen steal them. The last lets you combine creatures by stepping on different symbols on the ground. Unfortunately, these same games repeat between each scene change, just with a different theme. The minigame lose their luster after the first time and just unnecessarily extends the runtime with the second and third round. If new games were introduced each time, I would have loved it so much more. Aside from the shows I saw at the Illuminarium, there is so much more that the Las Vegas location has to offer. Once a month, they host an immersive yoga class with calming imagery and a sound bath. Multiple nights a month, they offer an after-hours event called After Dark, which invites people 18 and over to lounge, drink, and enjoy small bites while a live DJ plays music to themed 360 visuals. You can also host private events for any occasion. The Atlanta and Toronto locations has a much more limited amount of shows. Toronto is currently showing Space and Experience Beyond Earth and Journey to Oz, which is a Wizard of Oz themed show traveling with your favorite classic characters. Atlanta is currently only providing a virtual reality experience to explore the wonders of Egypt. If none of these shows available are interesting to you, don't worry. They're always cycling out experiences to bigger and better things. Things that I liked. I really appreciated the ability to move about and enjoy the show at your own pace. Sit, walk, talk, interact, it's up to you. You may even miss something that someone else saw. Being there with a group is honestly the best way to enjoy the visuals. I also appreciated that free parking was available close to the building. For space, I enjoyed the combination of reality with fiction. While I do not think I was the target market for this experience, I feel that there was a clear vision, but the execution was just not there. Small improvements and maybe more time on the final product would have made this much more enjoyable. For Lightbright, this was one of the most colorful visual shows I've ever attended. Being limited to the specific art style really showed off the technical skill of the people behind its creation. Yet minigames were cute, even if it was limited. Things that I didn't like. It was so cold. Coming from a warm 75-degree day in Las Vegas to a far too air-conditioned space was miserable. Even all the employees were bundled up. I'm sure this was intentional for crowded days, but with 40 people in a 10,000 square foot space, I was shivering. I also disliked how loud the surround sound was. For a visual show with not much to do, talking to a friend was almost impossible, even though it seemed like it was encouraged. As for the audience, all ages are welcome to the daytime shows, but thematically, not all shows will be great for kids. Space was too boring for me as an adult, and I cannot imagine it having enough interest for a child since there was so little to do. Lightbright is definitely targeted for kids and families, but the stunning art is wonderful for anyone to enjoy. As for accessibility, Area 15's parking lot and buildings are very walkable. Accessible ramps are easily accessible, and the Illuminarium itself is all in one floor. Seating is limited though, so take that into consideration when attending on a busier day. The Illuminarium also provides sensory-inclusive showtimes at 10 a.m., to have a calmer and more enjoyable experience for those who are easily overwhelmed. This includes lowering the volume in not only the main space, but also in the lobby and merch store, removing floor lights and overwhelming visuals, increasing the room lights so it's easier to see where you're walking, and reducing floor vibrations. While the website claims this is available, there was no information on actually how to book this version of the experience, so an email or a call may be necessary to book. As someone who is still figuring out what form of neurological brain disorder they have, the Lightbright experience was one of the few visually stimulating experiences that triggered an episode in myself. I luckily had medication on hand and was able to step out for a bit before re-entering without much issue. Each of their shows have sensory warnings on the website, and I'm telling you that this one is no joke. As for the price, you may do each show individually for $35, but a dual pass to see both is also available for the same price, $35. So if you have time to spare, why not see both? If you get an Area 15 pass, level 2 or higher, the Illuminarium ticket is already included. I had a level 2 pass for $89 on a weekday, so it was way more bang for my buck. Personal recommendations? Please bring a jacket. You'll have a bad time without it. Also, check for showtimes prior to your arrival. While you are more than welcome to waltz in without a reservation, they rotate the shows back to back every 2 hours, so you'll want to plan accordingly. Also, for better viewing experience, a weekday is going to be your best bet. I went late on an evening on a weeknight, and even then it wasn't crowded. Overall, I feel like the Illuminarium can be improved to be so much more than it currently is. Lowering the sound and making its regular shows an immersive food or drink experience would make it feel like it has a clearer intention. If not for the tickets included in my Area 15 day pass, I would not have found either show worth my time or money. I definitely want more things like this, but more direct purpose and execution is needed to make a worthwhile immersive show. Until next time, stars don't twinkle. They love to wink at the others watching you. Check out our website, immersivexps.com, to join our free Ko-fi, which will have visuals and additional content of the immersive experiences discussed in each episode. If you are an immersive experience artist or creator, no matter how small, consider contacting us so you can take part on a future podcast. This podcast is recorded and produced by SoCal Podcast Studio in Orange County. Thanks for listening. The show starts with a Q8. The Q... Ugh.